Taurus. Beware of the stomach bug going around. Like, I know it's kind of like that season, especially if you're around kids or around, you work with the elderly or, you know, people that have weaker immune systems. Because I feel like digestive issues may be a focus this month. Also, I feel like with the Ten of Cups and the Seven of Swords, you do need to be kind of mindful of your family taking all of your personal time or giving all of your personal time to your family. You may be kind of scrambling around this month trying to make everyone happy, and that may just not leave enough alone time for you, enough time to recuperate, you know what I mean, and collect ourselves. Shout out to my girl Emma, though, because yesterday she pulled a card for me, and the Seven of Swords was Spirit's advice on how to take action. So it's always nice to see the Seven of Swords in a different light. So sometimes you have to sneak away. So even if you have a lot of family time scheduled for this month or a lot of obligations with people that you love and people that you love spending time with, don't feel guilty sneaking away to do your own thing for an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. They're not really even going to notice that you're gone. And even if they do, you could just say, oh, you know, I had to go read a book or whatever. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Sometimes we have to sneak off, do our thing, and explain ourselves later. You know what I mean? So with the Four of Cups and the Ten of Cups, you may be getting unsolicited advice this month too, especially if this is some type of matriarch or father figure in your family. You may be getting unsolicited advice from him that is coming from a really good place. Whoever's giving this advice, they mean really well. I just don't think you're quite ready to hear it for whatever reason. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic advice, but I think it's more like life advice, like what you should do or how you should do it or whatever. And you may just be like, you know how you get, Taurus. It's like, well, I haven't decided yet to take on new advice, or I haven't decided yet to take on these things, so you may not want to. In all these questions, if people are asking you a lot of questions, because maybe you're at big family functions or whatever, there's something that's making you a little nauseous. Okay? Mind you, we have the Three of Cups over here, so it's accompanied by the Seven of Pentacles. So to break this down really quick, the Chariot, Three of Cups, and the Seven of Pentacles, if you've especially been wanting to move by yourself or do something big that would change your life, that is just for you, that is just for your freedom, for your independence, for your self-expression, all that kind of stuff, when you bring it up to people, they may try to tell you like, oh, well, you've never lived alone, or you've never lived miles from your family, or you've never done this, and they're trying to like bestow some type of like life advice upon you. Don't get too offended. Just be like, all right, thanks. But the way to success, and the way that you'll successfully, make new friends or invite in new opportunities that are really going to help you thrive is to allow things time to unfold. We have 3 sevens here. You have big changes coming, but I think that over the next 7 weeks, so going into November, after your beloved planet of Venus goes back direct and starts to move out of its shadow, I think that's when you'll start to feel better about all the opportunities and all the chances that you're getting now. Because I think that, the Chariot moves really slow. It's success and it's creating big change in your life, but it starts slow and you're really enthusiastic about it with the Queen of Wands here. And you want to celebrate this win in this upcoming victory, but the actual victory itself is going to take time to materialize, okay? All right, Taurus, I really like this energy for you. It is going to challenge you a little bit, but not so much that I think you're going to get overwhelmed. Like I said, I think your biggest challenge is going to be potentially your diet this month, eating with your stomach being sensitive, getting nervous, right? Allowing anxiety to kind of wreak havoc on our stomach. Because you have the Ten of Cups here again, you might be at, again, family gatherings. A lot of times when we're at family gatherings, there's maybe food that's heavier that you normally eat because it's a celebration. I feel like there's a little bit of that energy around. So just take it easy. And also don't allow, I feel like don't allow things to eat at you is important to mention as well. But this is all about you. Okay? This is all about you. This is all about finding the value not only in yourself, but in other people. But you first have to establish how valuable you are to other people in order to deepen the connections that you have or you want to create for yourself, okay? The overall energy is the Nine of Wands. And, you know, anytime we're going to do something new or we're even contemplating putting our guard down, you know, we can get a little testy. A little testy. And I think you're at a point where you're realizing you can't be defensive forever, or you can't be hesitant forever, and you're going to have to finally step out of the nest, or step out of your safety blanket, or step out of your cave, or whatever. And the Nine of Wands is like, I've been through a lot. And I feel that all these wands represent different things. I've been through a lot of shitty jobs, you know, I've been through not so hot friendships, and I've been through, you know, out of balance family relationships. And I think overall there's this deep desire for all of that to just stop. I think that you more than ever really want to stop your habits or tendencies like that are either masochistic or just self-sabotaging in nature. Things that kind of cause you to live under your potential. I feel like there's a big desire to rid yourself of all of that. Now, the oracle cards we have are Caring Connections and Door to Value. Now, Caring Connections came up for another sign. I do not remember who. It was definitely maybe Sagittarius. Maybe. Okay. But this is, you know, Caring Connections does usually talk about one-on-one connections, but it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It can just be, you know, when we show appreciation to another person and allow people to appreciate us. Okay? Door to Value not only is about money, but if you look, there is like this garden beyond there, right? And there's a lot of beauty. And there's almost like a yellow brick road type of deal. And I feel that something has been unlocked within you that was sealed off for quite some time. And I feel primarily what it is you either were meeting people that were undervaluing you, regardless of how much self-esteem and empowerment you had, especially at work, maybe making, you know, you have a lot of trauma potentially around bosses that don't respect you or don't see your worth or whatever, or underpay you. Or it could be, you know, it's like no matter what I do, people just don't see the best in me. Or I make friends with people that I'm more valuable than they are to me. Like they just kind of show up. Like they don't really add a lot to my life. And in some way or another, that trickles back to us not feeling worth it. You know what I mean? So I feel like you're kind of pushing yourself this month to put your reservations aside, and allow yourself to be seen, and also allow yourself to not use, we'll say, excuses for why things are the way they are. You're like, okay, I've recognized the issue, so now I can do something about it. What Spirit is asking you to release? We have the Five of Wands with the Devil. And on the Devil, we have disruption. So what's interesting about this is the Five of Wands, you know, talks about strife and competing and having to put up a struggle, right? And the Devil obviously is our more humanistic side. I like to think of it also as the 7 deadly sins, like lust, gluttony, you know, lethargy, right? Is that a 7 deadly sin? You know, just being a sloth a little bit, you know? But with it being paired with disruption, I feel like you've known what your hang-ups are, or the things that tend to distract you, are for quite some time. And you've been trying to ward them off. You're like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like this. And that's admirable. You know, you've been making progress. But I think that you've taken a more combative approach, which leaves you tired. And it's hard to do because you're fighting your natural way, if you will, or fighting your natural tendencies. So instead, Spirit is saying that your very human desires are going to keep disrupting this constant struggle that you've put yourself in to be better, or to stand taller and to connect deeper with who you really are and what you're worth. But there's a fine line between like warding things off and just and allowing things to affect us so much that we're constantly giving in. So I feel like you spend a lot of time warding off your like darkness, if you will, or the things that you do, again, more out of like gluttony and just out of pure unadulterated pleasure that don't necessarily serve you in any way aside of immediate instant gratification. And you get so tired, like it's like you spend so many days or weeks fighting that off that then you go on like a binge of whatever that habit is for you. So Spirit is saying that when it comes up, acknowledge it. Like, okay, I really want to eat junk food right now. I know I shouldn't because I'm going to feel terrible after and it's going to derail my diet, for example. So instead of going like all the way left or going all the way right, like eating like a whole bag of Cheetos or eating a salad, or eating a salad with like nothing on it, you know, I'm going to have something in the middle. I feel like moderation, and acknowledging how you feel, and acknowledging what is coming up for you and why will free up a lot of that energy that you spend pushing away what you know doesn't serve you and instead making friends with it. Okay? The door that's not open for you that was once closed. We have the 9 of Swords with the 10 of Cups. On the 10 of Cups, we have the rune Fertility and the Knight of Pentacles. And on the 9 of Pentacles, we have the rune Marriage. So if any of you have recently gone to a wedding or are going to weddings or engagement parties, things like that, or being around a lot of married people, that kind of more established energy, if you will, which is not, doesn't make people more established, but you know what I'm saying. People may be asking you, like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? Are you dating anybody? You know, blah, 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 all those kind of questions. And that can kind of, I think, start to get your gears turning and making you think that you are an underachiever, or that maybe you're behind, right? Because the 9 of Pentacles is pretty slow. But don't let that get to you, okay? Because everyone's on their own time clock, and there are plenty of people that get married or make more familial moves and don't have any money in the bank or don't have any value in their connections, or maybe the only connection they have is their husband or their wife or whatever. So don't, you know, let that get to you too much. And people, again, even though they should be more cognizant of what they're really asking instead of asking like, how's work or what do you love to do? People just don't, you know, they're ingrained in their own way. So the 9 of Pentacles with the rune Marriage, though, is talking about, you know, being a little fearful with the 9 of Swords to commit to living your best life. And I think it's because, again, it's been really hard for you to ward off, if you will, the more, or we'll say the less progressive parts of your personality, which we all have them. You know what I mean? We all have them. So don't beat yourself up. And every step towards progress that you make is viable. That's why I think that being more moderate will serve you a lot better, because you're not going like 10 steps forward and 12 steps back. You're going 10 steps forward and 3 steps back. You know what I'm saying? Which is still a very solid plan. So it's time to really commit to your personal happiness and the ultimate fulfillment in a way that you haven't before. For the Fertility rune on the 10 of Cups, yes, you're a little nervous because I think what you're about to undergo, whether it be, again, getting better work relationships or creating a new avenue for you to connect with people, or having to put yourself out there because, you know, you're finally recognizing how valuable you are. it does make you a little unsure and a little scared. You know, the Knight of Pentacles wears a lot of armor. But give yourself time to shed it all. Okay, you don't have to shed it all overnight, but just take off one piece, you know, little by little. The Ten of Cups is saying that you deserve, you know, you deserve the whole shebang, whatever it is for you. You deserve it. And there's a lot of energy right now that if you're willing to commit, okay, if you're willing to commit and really stick to the code, if you will, stick to the plan, it will pay off tenfold. Okay, but not only are you going to have to put yourself out there to be potentially rejected, right? Because I feel like that's the big fear. But you're also going to have to allow yourself to be seen fully and accept people to be close to you so that you can be brought into the fold as well, if you will. Your current energy as it relates to all of this, in your head, we have the King of Swords. In your heart, the Eight of Wands. In your foundation, we have the High Priestess. On the High Priestess, we have the rune Standstill. So with High Priestess in your foundation, I think that there's great knowledge, especially on a psychological level, that you've been holding on to for quite some time, and you haven't really known what to do with it, or just have not been ready, if you will, to act on it. Okay. And again, I think it comes back to your intrinsic value, because we have the High Priestess here and the Empress. Those are like, you know, they're very different, but they're both strong feminine energy that is extremely commanding, but they command different things. The High Priestess commands things silently. You know, she can sit back in a corner of a room and know everything about what's going on. She's very observant, and she's very aware of not only spiritual premises, but I'm led to say religious, right? Even though this isn't the Hierophant, but she does have a Torah in her arm, so we're talking about religious and spiritually in nature documents, things that have been studied. So I feel like you've sat back and really studied your own psyche, the psyche of people around you, and you can somehow relate it to occult knowledge, like deep, ancient knowledge that you've probably literally studied in this life. If not, you've only studied it a little bit, read things here and there, and it all makes sense to you because you've studied it in past lives. And you've been sitting on this information. You've been sitting on it because I think that you weren't quite sure what to do with it yet. But the Eight of Wands in your heart is saying that your heart is now open to, I feel, sending out these truth vibrations. Like, you may not be physically moving or physically making moves or physically trying to connect with people or physically showing your value, but I think you're ready to communicate it at the very least on an energetic level. So I feel like you've shifted your home frequency, you've shifted your dominant vibration into something that's a lot more grounded and a lot more based on your own personal truth and your ability to receive based on said truth. With the King of Swords in your headspace, I feel that you're getting a lot more discerning with the thoughts that you allow to take up real estate in your mind. I don't think that you're going to totally give in to this Nine of Swords. It'll be interesting when we do your mid-month reading, which that stuff's in the description box if you're interested. But the King of Swords, you know, is not pussyfooting around, you know what I mean? He doesn't play games. And he definitely doesn't entertain small talk. He doesn't entertain, you know, things that are demeaning or undermining. So I feel like you've gotten very clear, at the very least with yourself, about what energy you want to bring forward and manifest from. And if people are trying to love on you or people are trying to give you attention or whatever, I feel like you're starting to say, you know what, I can accept all of this because, one, I'm worth it, and two, I can return it in whatever fashion I feel suits it, and it's cool. You know what I mean? So if this is a work thing, you know, I think that your mind is very much getting appreciated, and it's an asset to your company, and be open to whatever job changes or opportunities come from that. And they may not offer them this month, but they are coming, okay? Spirit's advice for you is the Ace of Swords with the Queen of Pentacles, and on the Ace of Wands, we have the rune Self. No, safety, excuse me. Now, Taurus, I know y'all love safety, and I respect it. Now, the kind of safety I feel like you're getting initiated into or tapping into with the Ace of Wands here is one that comes from within and is healthy. Okay? The Queen of Pentacles, coupled with this, is saying that I have the power. I have the skill set. I have the ability to provide myself physical safety, emotional safety, spiritual safety, but not in a way that keeps me off the market or out of view or silent. I feel like you're giving yourself permission to live a little louder, live a little bolder, take chances. I feel like some of you are going to be taking risks that previously you thought would, impede on your safety or your ability to protect yourself. But you're realizing that you have a lot more to offer than you've ever realized before. And that's opening up a windfall of blessings, okay? Because it could be financial or otherwise. But being that Venus is your ruling planet and it's retrograde this month, not only does it rule money, but it rules our value system and our morals. So I feel like you may get a shift in your moral compass to something that suits you a little bit better. I think you might be fine-tuning that. So be open to changes in a new boost in self-esteem. The most likely outcome going into November, we have the Empress with the Six of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. And with those, we have the rune Self. So this is all about you. And again, your ability to manifest and attain whatever it is that you want. And whatever it is that you feel is already yours. Because, right, there's the whole saying of, like, if you desire something, that means it's already yours. But we do have to get out and go get it. The Two of Pentacles is saying that you may need to rearrange your schedule or rearrange your spending in order to move to a better place or move to a better job or move to just an emotional place that is more receptive to the things that you're trying to accomplish, right? Because this is your own self. The Two of Pentacles also says that never think that you're out of options. We always have options. So if you felt like there was only one way to go about something, I feel like you're going to be learning by the end of October that there's many roads that lead to self-satisfaction. There's many roads that lead to a very receptive but also grounded and safe type of security within yourself. In that when we are constantly considering what our emotional body needs in conjunction with what we physically need, there's not so much balancing to do after because we considered it up front. I know some of this energy may sound a little bit romantic, but I don't think it really is. You guys know I do love readings that run mid-month to mid-month. All that info is in the description box below. And of course, if you want a private reading, that's in the description box below too. Some people that are subscribed to me have been commenting saying they're not getting notifications for my videos. So hit the bell button because then you'll be notified as soon as I upload something. And for the people that follow me on Instagram, you know that I've been doing readings on Instagram TV, which I then post to YouTube. But if you want those first, again, all that info is in the description box. So Taurus, what final messages do we have for you? My heart is open. I speak with loving words. Yes. I am comfortable looking in the mirror saying, I love you. I really love you. And this is what we were talking about here, right? Having a new, more caring, more empathetic, compassionate relationship with yourself, because you have to know how valuable you are in order for other people to value you. And when you establish that value that you've known all along, you can sit into the truth, Eight of Wands, okay, that it's safe to receive and give a much higher energy than you've been settling for. All right? Love y'all. Peace.